So hey guys, welcome to today's episode of the Wodesman podcast. It's Liam, Primal Nomad, one of your hosts. I just wanted to give you a little bit of information before the episode to let you know that I am now live streaming bushcraft on YouTube and Twitch TV. You can find me by searching Primal Nomad Bushcraft, dropping me a follow on Twitch or a subscribe on YouTube. You can join me on my live streaming adventures, come out into the woods while I'm cooking, trying out different gear, and be interactive. You can ask me questions. I'm normally on for 4 or 5 hours, 1 or 2 times a week. So find me over on Twitch TV or on YouTube Live. I look forward to seeing you there, and let's build an outdoor community together. Welcome to the Wodesman podcast, catching up with all things bushcraft, wild camping, and the great outdoors. So hey guys, it's Liam here, Primal Nomad. I'm actually with State Detective Steve.
I say old chaps.
Josh, Fyrd Woods.
Hello.
And his lovely better half, Willow.
Hello.
How are you all doing?
Oh, and the doggies.
And the doggy works.
Yeah, of course.
So we're down here in your woodland, aren't we, Josh?
Yeah, we're down in the woods for the night. We've, well, I originally thought that we were just meeting Steve.
Yeah.
Other thing, and then I got this amazing surprise phone call from Liam saying I'm at the gate. So I sped down in the truck.
I was in on it all along.
Yeah.
But I was sworn to secrecy, you see. Wolves have ears and all that jazz.
No, that's it. It was a good little surprise, to be honest. Had a little bit of a delay on some work deliveries, so it allowed me to come down, and you guys have been planning it for ages.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it, so as soon as I could, me and Steve got on the blow, didn't we?
It was so good. It was, and we've had a fantastic evening as well. We've eaten like absolute kings, courtesy of Steve.
Well, you guys, I mean, started off with Liam's chicken and rice, which was,
that was
something
great.
else.
Yeah, that was from Upton Smokery, so that's in Oxfordshire. Really nice little farm shop that have their own smokehouse, and they do you can go in there and dine in on certain days as well, and they do different smoked meats. But also they have in their farm shop all the organic veg, their home brewed beers, and smoked chicken and meats. It was great. So we did that. It was harissa smoked chicken and tarragon and pepper smoked chicken.
Beautiful.
With rice, and then we were followed by your amazing accompaniment, weren't we?
We did a rump sharing steak, which we put a couple of different rubs on, one of which is coming out soon with the State Detective, I think over the next couple of months. And then we did that, we sliced it up, didn't we, and we got
huge.
involved. It was huge.
You have to look at the video that's going to come out on my channel about it, but it was probably like 3-4 kilos, wasn't it? It was massive.
Yeah, it was a big rump steak with the fat cap left on it, and we got some of the fat left as well that we rendered down, didn't we, cooking it, and just let it grill. I think we did it about 10 minutes or so each side.
Yeah, it was perfect as well. It was so tender, and then we actually, because it was so big, we fried off some more this morning, didn't we,
for breakfast.
Yeah, so it's fantastic. And where was that from as well?
So that was from Hammond's, which is a butcher's in Ashtead, Surrey. But again, you know, just go to your local butchers and ask for a sharing rump steak, and he or she will ask you how big, how thick.
Yeah, it was about an inch and a half thick. That
it was. You know,
doorstep.
If you haven't got any rubs, you can just use salt, pepper, and you know, rosemary sprigs are good on it, and just any herbs you want, and just roast it over open fire. Yeah,
absolutely. And the dogs were well happy to get some of that stuff. So you can tell they're already excited about it now. But no, I mean, we were blessed with the weather, because it was quite a wet journey down.
Yeah, it was.
I know when I got to Oxford, it was absolutely hammering it down. I thought, oh, good grief.
Yeah, I know. It's.
I thought it was going to be tipping it down all day.
Yeah.
We woke up to hammering rain.
Yeah, it was.
It was kind to us.
It was kind.
It's worked out well, and it was quite mild last night as well.
Yeah, you had a kind of split sleep, didn't you?
I had a split sleep. Yeah, I mean, I've just got to say, the woodland here is absolutely beautiful, guys. I mean, talk about outdoor living. You've got, the cabins, the whole thing going on, the outdoor space with sofas and really cool stuff. So outdoor cooking area which is raised up, and yeah, you've got it all here. So it's a really cool spot. And I was lucky enough to get the cabin, or one of the cabins, which I went to sleep really well, and then I woke up about, I don't know, 2:30 or something. And I had a friend.
It wasn't me.
I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't Liam. I think it must have been a squirrel or I don't know, or a big rodent type thing or something. But yeah, it kept me awake.
One of those were-squirrels.
One of those were-squirrels. But in the end, it was scratching around, so I decided to sleep in the back of the Land Rover. So I bottled it and thought, you
don't want your bouncing bomb to get chewed on, do you?
I didn't want my bouncing ball sleeping bag, and I didn't want to wake up with it sitting on my head either. So.
I was in the truck as well.
You were in the truck as well, weren't you?
Yeah, it was good. I was on a bit of a slant, and I'd forgotten to take out a few bags of compost out of the back, so I woke up like in the middle of the night, kind of hugging those. It was,
sounds quite nice, actually.
Yeah, it was, a little bit chilly at points with the cold plastic. But no, it was great night's sleep. And I mean, your woodland, just for the listeners' sake, at the moment the ramses are just starting to pop up now to the wild garlic. So in certain places that you walk, you kind of get this really lovely smell of alliums.
Smell. It's strange this year because normally you'd have them coming out in sort of mid-April.
Yeah.
But I think just because of the way that the climate's getting a little bit warmer at the moment, we didn't really have a proper winter this year, so.
And there's been a lot of water.
Yeah, there's been a lot of water and not very cold temperatures, so the wild garlic it started coming out mid-February, to be honest.
Did it? Yeah.
Yeah, which is unheard of so far.
Yeah, I'm probably going to steal a few little bits to make some pesto when I go home.
Help yourself. There's
plenty.
loads to go around.
There's loads to go round.
Yeah.
It's amazing how it always grows on these kind of the banks and the wet land, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really abundant when it is somewhere. It's not scarce. There's loads of stuff cropping up at this time of year, and in fact we were even practicing because right now is a good time for when game starts to be springing into life as well. You're seeing it a lot more active, and we were doing some practice yesterday, weren't we? Some target practice.
Some target practice quite a bit. We've had the crossbow out and we've had the rifles out. Liam, I gave Liam a challenge, which is to shoot the detonator cap from a or like on the shell of a 12 bore cartridge, which is about the size of an air rifle pellet. So I set it up 30 yards away for Liam, and I said, hit that and you get a free beer. And he did, and it went pop nicely.
It was great, wasn't it? Really, it's a good way to target sheep because it's such a small target.
Yeah, you just got to make sure there's a safe backstop. Although there's no compression.
Yeah,
you definitely know when you hit it. You just got to make sure there's a safe backstop because again, you're using a gun essentially, but also there is the implication of pellets going everywhere, although there is no barrel to compress it. So generally what happens is most of the powder actually is unburnt, and it just blows the shell to pieces, but it's good fun.
Yeah, it was really fun because my first shot I was finding the trigger, so I shot a bit low, and then I started to kind of gauge the trigger and the gun and where it was zeroed into, and I put the first shot on the top of the rim of the shell, then my second shot was on the bottom left, and my third shot was on the bottom right. So I'd kind of triangulated. I'll put a picture up on maybe on the podcast show notes, and then the fourth and final shot was straight through the middle.
It's getting used to that Vyrak trigger.
Yeah, it's a beautiful bit of kit, really nice, because I've got a BSA R10, and yeah, lovely gun, but it's always good to experiment with other bits of kit.
Yeah.
And I was also really impressed by your crossbow.
Yeah, that's a new acquisition. I got this little sort of carbine crossbow. It's a Cobra R10, and it's one of those crossbows with the lever, so they're very quick to reload.
Yeah, I was really impressed.
Dead accurate though. Like it's probably as accurate as a spring piston brake barrel air rifle.
Yeah.
It's quite a fun bit of kit. It's one of the things we do a lot of in the woods is just archery and a lot of air rifle stuff, and it's just quite fun to add a crossbow to the mix. Just as another thing to play with, because essentially we're all massive children.
Yeah, well, it's impressive as well, like how powerful it is, and with the scope set up on it, it really transitions that kind of traditional archery it's that crossover between archery and rifle shooting.
Yeah, it's very modern,
Yeah.
and with the M4 stock and everything like that. And normally I go for sort of classic looking things, but yeah, that was a bit too fun to pass up.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I mean, we were both talking yesterday about how much we love lever actions, and I know Tom and myself were talking about it in the previous episode. They're just such nice bits of kit. In fact, one of my first ever, I guess, it's not a firearm by all means, but it's a metal BB gun.
Is that the Daisy Red Rider?
It's the Daisy Red Rider. I got one from America.
They're iconic, and you can't get them in the UK.
Yeah, I know.
Is, my neighbour in the adjacent Woodland has one.
Yeah, I've got one still.
Yeah,
and I've still got the
so
tub
much
of Daisy
fun.
BBs
No way.
from Walmart.
They're a lot of fun, those things.
Because it's the kind of American kid's first gun.
Yeah, totally.
All their dads buy them, so my dad bought me one, and yeah, that was my introduction to it. It's always been a classic.
Yeah.
So it's nice to do this kind of stuff when I come down to these woods with you.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
it's
nice
always
to
the
see
best
you
fun.
on it, Steve.
Yeah, it's great.
You got that firearm stuff coming up, haven't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm going to the US in a couple of weeks, and I'm hoping to be able to legally shoot an M1 Garand.
Oh.
So
Yeah, then it's Garand.
Yeah.
and I'm hoping here as well. I've just discovered a friend of mine's got a Lee Enfield 303, so I'm hoping to do a comparison between the two. And I've never shot a rifle before, an air rifle, but I've shot a shotgun, and I've never shot a handgun. So I'm quite
It's going to be a cool experience.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
really exciting.
yeah.
Because you've got quite a lot of stuff coming up, haven't you, actually? Because it's a busy old month for you.
It's a busy month, I think, because you're sort of preparing for show season, and like a lot of us are, and you end up, you have to obviously run a lot of stock. The new products are coming out as well, and it's all go. It's all go on the home front to get things to the troops behind enemy lines for the summer months. It all really kicks off, the show season, the end of April, early May.
Yep.
This year we're going to be in Normandy at the Victory Museum in Carentan, which is the American side.
That's going to be amazing.
It's going to be brilliant for the 80th anniversary of D-Day.
And you're there as the state detective with your stall, aren't you?
Yes, be there, yeah. So we'll be selling rations to the troops. And we've got some special things coming up. We're working very closely with the Jump project, which is run by the Curragh to Normandy website, so please do check that out. We're working.
I'll put some links down below.
Thank you. Yeah. So we're working with the Band of Brothers actors, or several of them that are going to actually train to get their paratroopers wings in Georgia.
That's amazing.
In the next couple of months, to be able to actually jump into Normandy in June.
That's incredible.
So we'll be part of that, and there'll be a video coming out from me next week on that.
Brilliant.
With an interview for that as well.
So that'll be a really special.
Massively special, because it links back to the real reason for the state detective. To really remember and honour those who served, and remember them, least we forget, and ensure future generations are remembered.
Because it's something
appreciate it.
You're passionate about. The war beyond just the state detective image. It's something that I know you love to spread that message in your videos. So this is going to be quite a special one for you. I can already tell.
It will be,
especially with some of those cast members being able to portray a message as well.
It is. I mean, we tend to see it normally. We see it in the films, from Saving Private Ryan to Band of Brothers. A lot of it tends to be focused on the American side, but also there's a lot of British films out there as well. But I think it sort of something like World War II. It was a true world war, and it touched the lives of everybody, and even left scars and ripples on the landscape today. So to be able to give something back like that is really important. So there's lots of charities that are registered to this. And the Jump project is a big part of that, and we're happy to be working together on it. So there'll be some cool stuff coming, including some new cool products from the State Detective as well.
Brilliant.
3 new sauces.
Oh, go on.
And some rubs. So there'll be a tomato ketchup coming,
Amazing.
which will be awfully British, you see, old chaps.
That sounds great.
And there'll be a smoked sweet and sour cherry competition barbecue sauce coming for the Yanks, don't you know, who are going to drop in behind enemy lines.
Oh, brilliant.
And the Canadians will have something maple syrup based as well. So
Wow.
it'll be yeah.
So it is going really global with the flavours. And
Yeah.
of course, you've got some new pudding ranges out at the moment as well.
Yes, and you guys tried those, didn't you, last night?
They
Yeah.
were great.
So good.
Fantastic. Yeah,
Yep.
what one did you start with?
I started with the treacle sponge and then moved on to the spotted dick.
Yeah.
It was too good. Way too good.
It was incredible. Yeah, we had it with custard. You
Yeah.
had, what was it, sticky toffee pudding?
Sticky toffee, yes. Yeah, sticky toffee.
And they're all fantastically named. Like, I think it's Art Fanny's...
Spotted
what is it?
Dick.
Spotted Dick, yeah.
Blitz, Spotted
Blitz,
Dick.
Spotted Dick, and then really, really good quintessentially British names and really lovely puddings as well. And they come in like a little plastic pot, really nice. They can fit in your backpack, ready to go. You just put them in warm water last night to heat through, didn't you?
Yes.
Just like
Yeah.
a water bath.
Yeah.
And they were gorgeous. The nicest pudding I've had in the woods for a long, long time.
Oh, that's good. I'm so pleased you liked it, old chap.
And it just saves the whole needing to wash up your own
Yeah.
pots. And
Well, the little pots as well. You sort of reuse those little pots if you want to. Little plastic pots as well.
perfect for tinder collection or
Tinder,
forageables. Yeah.
or even to put some of your dipping sauces in, or to make yourself a little, I don't know, a little concoction or something. So
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
like it. No, they're really good. So definitely, guys, go check out the State Detective. Use the code Wodesman20 if you are going to put an order in, and you'll help support the Bearded Fisherman charity, which again, massively important to both of us, isn't it? So
hugely, they do tremendous work, don't they? And they're on the front line.
They are.
They're on the front line. You know, they're talking to people. On piers, on bridges, during the night, late at night. You know,
Tim's one of those people. And Tim will be at the bushcraft show.
he will be at the bushcraft show.
So he might be around the state. He'll be probably around the State Detective stall a fair bit,
will
pottering
be.
around, helping out with bits and pieces. So
He will be.
if you
TJ
want-
into the wild.
Yeah, if you want to get to know a bit about the Bearded Fisherman charity, definitely go and go over to the State Detective stall at the bushcraft show and have a little chat over there, because I'll probably be around there quite often as well.
Yeah.
I might even have a few of my soaps there on your stall as well, which you
Yes.
kindly
Yeah.
offered me to have. So hope to see you guys there. And I think there's a bit of news from Josh actually. Isn't
Yeah.
it? You've got some news about the bushcraft show.
Well, this is the first year I'll be trading there as Fyrd Woodland Blades, which is essentially the name I sell my knives under. And yeah, I've been super busy at the moment, just getting stock made, working on some new designs, getting a few custom pieces finished.
Yeah.
One of them to you.
And if you want to see a custom piece, please do have a look at my Instagram page, The State Detective, or on Josh's website. Stunning, what he's done, and Liam's knife as well. We're actually here, with Liam has his knife that Josh made him. I have mine.
You collected yours today, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Or yesterday.
Yes.
So
And
you used it for the first time on that hunk of meat.
yes, I did, and it's just a beautiful creation.
Yeah, because it's really special, because it holds inside it something that, again, really special to you, and I'll let you carry on, because
Yeah, I mean, well,
your collaborative effort on what you came up with is amazing.
Well, I think it was Josh and I spoke about doing a custom piece at the Ranch Festival, which was October before last. So
Yeah.
we were at the ranch, and I said, listen, I'd love to integrate something World War II into one of your knives. And you were like, yeah, let's do it.
do it, yeah.
So I came by some .303 Lee Enfield cartridges that had been fired, rounds that had been fired, obviously, in a clip, and that were dated 1944, so were D-Day rounds. And Josh has skillfully integrated them into the handle of the knife on either side, and also laser etched the blade with logos and Also created an amazing steel striker, steel out of one of the bullet casings as well. So all housed in a beautiful leather sheath. So I'm just over the moon with it. So
it's such a special piece.
It really is.
It
really is.
There are certain pieces that you work on that really stand out. That one is very high up there on the list. Very high up there.
Thank you, old chap.
Yeah.
I'm over the moon with it.
Yeah, it took me a while to gain the courage to make it, I'll be honest, because I knew that incorporating and inlaying the end of the cartridge casings would just be an absolute job in itself, and I was so terrified of messing it up.
Yeah, because I guess you had to recess those ends of the casings enough so that when you sanded the final piece, you weren't taking off the timestamp.
Yeah, the insignia and all that. And I almost did on one of them, and I had to re-engrave some of it. Which was another thing. But it was, I'm so happy with how it came out.
It's a beautiful piece. It's just stunning. I'm looking forward to using it more and more and more.
It's just so special to you, and it's again another kind of part of the collection, because your pieces aren't like a commercial knife, in the sense of they're not mass manufactured. Each one's like each one tells a story. Each bit of wood has its own story, and they're part of a collection.
Totally. Each one I make, I fall in love with a little bit, and then I have to sell it because need to eat. But I really try to go down the route of making more traditional knives that could be, I guess, more of an heirloom or more of something that sort of stands out to the user. It's a bit more personal.
Yeah. Well, it's something I always foresee passing down to my son or my daughter whenever they come along and get into bushcraft, and I've passed on that flame, so to speak.
Totally.
And it's nice to think of a knife like that. And although, if you look after any knife, they'll last a lifetime. It was testament again to your edge yesterday when I was cutting some of the fat again off of State Detective's bit of beef, and it was cutting just as well as a new one. And all I've done is stropped it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what you need to do pretty much. Unless you put a big nick in the edge, just strop it, and as long as you're not rounding off your apex with a loose strop, and just making sure you're stropping on a flat board to keep the bevels nice and flat, then it will continue to go.
Yeah, and I think that comes even part with bushcraft. Like, I've almost got to a point where I rarely use my knife now, because I've got competent at certain other things without the need for a knife.
Right.
I always have a knife with me, but certain tasks that I might have used a knife for and potentially put a nick in it, I just suddenly don't even find myself reaching for the knife anymore.
I find I use a hatchet more than anything.
Yeah, nice.
That little Gransfors outdoor axe. That's probably my most used tool.
Because they've got that lovely collar on them.
Yeah,
which gives it a bit of protection. They're really nice and light and small. You can tuck it into a backpack. And I actually picked one up second hand from a guy at Levue on the farm, and absolutely amazing bits of kit, much more versatile than something like a small forest axe.
Yeah, totally.
Which it would be good for an expedition.
I find it splits and it bites into wood just as well as the larger small forest axe, but it's a much smaller package. And I think it's just so handy, and I seem to always have it around, and because a lot of what I have to do to keep warm is to split firewood. So it just, that's my main wood processing tool, really. Yeah,
because you've now got a new knife as well called the Leshy, haven't you? Which is your Pucko.
The one I've got in my hand right now doing this feather stick.
Yeah, and you were saying that's become a fast favourite of yours because of size.
Yeah, so the Evo Pro is one that I'd take if I was actually out on a bushcraft trip. It's the knife I would lean to, because it's a larger blade, it's more of a beast for battening and things like that. But when we're up in the woods, we're kind of like glampers, really, because we've built all this infrastructure here in the forest, like the cabins and things like that. So I'm not having to stop at a new camp and make a pot hanger and baton wood and all of that kind of thing. And to be honest, I miss that. I'm really looking forward to our trips this year where we can actually go out and use use the kit, because I haven't had an opportunity to do that for quite some time. And
and use the skills around that.
I'm lacking in it, and I find myself, still practicing the skills, and practicing with the hide tanning and flint napping, and using tools and carving and things like that. But I'd love to get back on an adventure.
Yeah.
So for that sort of purpose, I'd always pick an Evo Pro. But for pottering around the woods or work and things like that, I love this little Leshy Buco design, because it's just so lightweight.
I guess that's where I bring my Code Wodesman out. It's similar kind of
Exactly.
similar size.
Yeah, it's like you don't notice it on your belt, and really I don't need to be battening every day. I just need to be cutting string, maybe doing a little bit of firewood prep,
Food prep.
exactly.
Yeah.
Opening boxes, all of that sort of thing.
I like what you're doing now, a feather stick. As you
It
talk,
looks incredible. Yeah.
Lovely set.
But that's it. It's like you don't need an overbuilt knife for just day to day working in the woods.
No.
But it's more of a wilderness or like a trip knife for Evo Pro.
Yeah, 100%. It's something like, for example, if I was going up to Scotland or to Wales on a multi-dayer, that's the thing that I'd want on my belt.
Totally.
But if I'm on a day trip, a Castrum or the Leshy, for example.
Well, you use your
steel
Kiradashi from Francis quite a lot, don't you?
Love that knife.
Yeah, the little neck knife.
Really handy, and it goes down to what I was saying. Kind of, the more I think you discover in bushcraft, the less you rely on the tools you have as well. So a lot of the things that I used to think, I'll grab my knife out for, suddenly I'll, like even trimming a branch, sometimes I'll
use your hands.
Yeah, use my hands. I can. Sometimes a rip on a branch is actually better. It's more organic and natural for the tree than a cut, and it looks far less out of place in some scenarios.
There are certain cuts that tree surgeons will use when they're reducing a tree at the crown, and they I've forgotten the name of the cut, but there's a certain cut which is basically very aggressive, that they'll do on the edge of the timber, and the reason for that is it's to encourage new growth.
Right.
Okay.
Like quite frayed.
Yeah. You'll use the saw and you'll cut in at various different angles. I forget the term for it. But
because I think you make more surface area by doing that, which allows more chance for the new growth.
Yeah.
It's actually very similar, kind of digressing a small bit, it might interest you a little bit, Steve. I was listening to Steve Ranella and the Meat Eater podcast talk about this, so big shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
But when you're with a clean wound, for example, it's why, again, knife safety. If you make a cut with a really sharp knife, it's actually a lot harder for that wound to heal because it's so clean. It's two surfaces that are so slippy they can't adhere.
Surgical. Yeah.
But if you cut yourself with, say, for example, like a silky saw, although it's a nasty cut, they tend to heal quicker because those fibres can join together.
That's interesting. I haven't heard that before.
And there's a substance that I can't remember the name of, and it's going to annoy me the whole drive home now, but it's called meat glue.
Yeah.
It's the chemical, it's like monoglutamine or something like that, I can't remember, or something like that.
It's your body's natural.
Yeah, it's a glue, and you can actually buy this as a powder, so you can get chicken, you rough up the edge of the chicken, you put on some of this powder, get a bit of beef, rough it up, put it on, do that with venison. You can do and overnight the meat tissue will regrow and connect them.
Because in the military they use kind of like super glues.
Yeah. But
also the hemostatic powder. Have you ever used that?
I haven't, but
it's amazing how fast it works.
Wow.
It just coagulates any bleed. Instantaneously.
They use
I
a
just
lot.
thought it was quite interesting because it's quite a funny little thing, but it goes back to about clean cuts and.
That's interesting. Yeah. Making a surgical cut is you're taking away any.
That's why they end up having to stitch a lot.
Less likely to have infection though.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Yeah, and I mean silky's always quite dangerous anyway. I think they're probably the most dangerous bit of kit that we carry as a bushcraft. But the axe is.
Small axes
respected.
Small axes are pretty dangerous, but you find that generally people will then know what they're doing. They'll be kneeling down a bit.
People respect an axe more than they respect a saw as well. They kind of overlook a saw.
Exactly, and you often see, you'll see people with axes. Like very few people would want to use an axe in the dark.
Yeah.
especially after a couple of beers. Whereas you see a lot of the time when you're camping, someone sawing up wood quickly
Yeah.
with their
Yes.
head torch on, and you know.
It's always when you rush in when these
Yeah.
things, or when you're not concentrating, these things happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
These accidents happen.
And when things aren't maintained as well, like we always say, a blunt tool is a dangerous tool, and that's why, again, quickly going back to your blades, I love your blades because they stay really nice and sharp.
Thanks.
So it's
I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to the geometry.
I was not, when I was cutting that meat last night, I was not putting any pressure. I was literally just leaving the weight of the blade to literally,
Yeah.
and it was just.
You shouldn't really. If you have to put pressure on something that's like a soft material, whether it's a soft wood or meat or something like that, you're not using the right tool for the job, really. You know, there's a lot of blades that people use in the world of bushcraft that are very thick and overbuilt, very wide geometries, and you see people trying to cut wood with them and pushing with all their might, and the problem is that's when accidents happen.
Yeah.
If you get the right geometry on a tool, then it just becomes a joy to use, but also a lot safer.
But it just glides between the fibres.
Exactly, you know, it's like you don't need to put pressure on something, and if you are, I would recommend trying something different.
Yeah, I think that goes to a lot of things actually. It goes back to even like you can apply that ethos to everything. Even when I was camping a few weeks ago, the weather was crazy, the winds came up incredibly, and I just decided to call it. And again, when I was with Craig in the Peak District, I had a bothy camp, and the next day I just wasn't feeling too great. And it's all about kind of understanding these limits with your tools, limits with yourself, limits with your gear.
Not pushing yourself.
Yeah.
There's no reason to push yourself. There's nothing to gain from it, then why do it?
Yeah, and I think that's why it's good as well to go to the bushcraft show, because again, you get to hear all these stories from people like Ray Mears, Ed Stafford. There's some great things on offer there, so I'm really excited that you're going to be trading there.
I can't wait, mate. I can't wait.
Really good fun.
You're going to have your little avenue, aren't you guys?
Yeah, we're all going to be together hopefully, and it's just going to be great to catch up with some old friends and see, you know,
Be good.
see everybody, and show, you know, all of us just sort of show what we're about and what we do.
Yeah, because hopefully Tom will be able to make it this year. So, Back Garden and Bushcraft, obviously the co-host of the Wodesman podcast. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it down today because of his work schedule. He does work in the education sector, so it's understandable. But yeah, hopefully he'll be able to make it down. So
Yeah, it'd be good.
when we probably meet up next with these two lovely people, Steve and Josh and Willow, of course, it'll probably be at the Bushcraft show. So if you are there, come say hello. Try and include a little clip of you guys in the Wodesman. And yeah, it's been really nice, guys. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a lovely 24 hours
It's
with
been
you.
great, man. It's been so good.
Liam,
Yes, sir.
I've tried your soaps, well, one of your soaps, which is the black pepper
Sandalwood and charcoal.
sandalwood and charcoal, and it
Yeah.
is my all-time favourite.
Really?
Yeah, I think you're going
I
to
love
bring
that.
something to the bushcraft. We're going to have a lot of sweet-smelling bushcrafters running around. So walk us through the history and the background to your soap making, if you would, and what flavours are going to be out there. Sorry, flavours, scents are going to be out there.
Yeah, I
and,
wouldn't suggest
eating
them,
them.
but they do get some appetising smells out of them.
They do. You
Yeah.
feel like you should be able to eat them.
And they look edible as well, which is always my dad always comes in and jokes. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you're making some more fudge, are you?"
Yeah.
Or something. But it's great. So basically, I got into the whole soap thing a few years ago, but the first time I ever did it was when I was a small child. I went to kind of a living museum and we made this herbal kind of soap balls, traditional kind of like Tudor soap, and I always loved that soap, and I had these fond memories of it. So a few years ago I decided I want to try and make my own soaps, because I'm sick of seeing parabens and phthalates and like sulfates and all these sorts of chemicals in soap. You look at liquid soap and you can hardly pronounce any of it.
Yes.
And a lot of that is actually, you know, after I've started having a look into soaps myself, a lot of that is because when you saponify certain products, it makes a saponified chemical version. So actually a lot of things in soap are a chemical, but a natural chemical as well. So let's say, for example, lard, which is the base for my soap, pork fat.
Love it.
A great valuable resource. And all too often we're using stuff like palm oils and like this kernel oil and all sorts of stuff. Mine are purely lard, some organic rapeseed oils and coconut oil. So all natural oils and natural fats, but the majority of it, about 80% of that base or 70% of that base, I think, is lard. So sodium lardate is the name that you call lard once it's been saponified with a lye, and lye is the ingredient that you mix with fat to make soap. So it's like a caustic ingredient. Traditionally it was wood ash. You'd get a wood ash and you'd submerge that in water.
And that would replace lye, would it?
The liquid that you then get from the wood ash would be a slight yellowish, kind of brownish colour. And that would be an alkaline solution. It's very caustic, so if you put your hands in it, it would cause some irritation. Kind of like an acid. You'd put that in the fat and it starts to saponify the fats. It actually thickens them and emulsifies them, and then that sets into a soap, a block of soap. It takes a while to cure and what have you, and obviously at that phase it would just be a very fat smelling block. So that's when you get into adding essential oils or different kind of additives like the black pepper or the charcoals, and yeah, so it was a real big experiment with me to work out what was a good base that wasn't going to last a good amount of time, also be good and healthy, sustainable, and not contain as many, if not any, of the unnatural things. And of course some fragrances are fully essential oil based, and some are synthetic fragrances that are a combination of different scents or essential oils and a slight bit of perfume. But all the ones that I've used I've really analysed and made sure that they contain none of the bad things. And yeah, it was just real subtle smells, because I don't like going into Lush and shops like that and getting overwhelmed with smells.
No, it's so overwhelming.
I love Lush products, but I don't like going into the stores.
It always smells the same, and there's this kind of quasi.
So much colour as well.
There's so many things going on at once. It's overstimulating, And I think what you've created with your soaps is they like come in threes. All the best things kind of come in threes. So like the black pepper, the sandalwood and the charcoal, isn't it? I mean, I'm in the shower, right? I'm going away, and then I see this thing, and it's a black peppercorn. I'm like, oh, there's a black peppercorn in my soap, and that's acting as the exfoliator. And you've got the polisher on the end of the soap, which is like some coming out, steak detectives coming out and springing his step and all sort of,
I love it.
And they do last a long time. They last a long, long time.
Yeah, well, this is the thing with a lot of kind of commercial soaps. They just disappear before your eyes almost. You kind of wash them away and you think, wow, I've just shrunk this bar by an 8. Got 7 more washes. But mine just seemed to keep going, which, some people could argue is bad marketing, but I think it's the fairest kind of
good quality
thing. That's what you want with a good bar of soap.
Good quality, natural.
And it was just something I wanted to share with people after making batches for myself, and giving them to people and getting my feedback and kind of really refining those. It was nice to kind of then say, actually, let's go through the whole cosmetic litigious nightmare of getting them all regulated and labelled up. That was a minefield. God.
Saying something to the bushcraft community as well, that they need a shower.
Yeah, well, it's always handy to have, and the good thing about this soap is it's a traditional soap that you can use it for washing your dishes, you can use it for washing your hair.
Oh, so it's multi-purpose.
Yeah, you can use it for anything. You could make a shampoo out of it if you wanted to.
Nice.
Whatever you want. I mean, if you wanted to make a shampoo out of my soap, you just cut a bit of the bar, put it in a bottle with water, shake it up overnight, and it would make shampoo. That's it.
Wow.
It's dissolved into the water and you've got a thicker liquid soap. That's how you make the liquid soap out of it. So it's just something versatile to have in your kit, and it's been a fun journey. I mean, there's a lot of things that I can't say with the soaps, so I can't give any health claims.
No.
Like, despite, for example, I wanted to use pine tar in my soaps, which is a very common soap, pine tar soap, but over here in the UK you can't do it. Because
Really?
they say it contains polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. But actually the studies that were done on it were mainly done on coal tar,
Yeah.
so they're quite biased. So the EU's ban on any polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons is like a
reasoning
blanket
behind
ban,
that, though?
because they say it causes cancer,
Right,
skin cancer. But there's only a few, there's like, I think it's 6 of them that do, 2 of them that don't. The 2 that don't are the ones that are in pine tar.
Right.
So they make a
Okay.
broad
But they made
statement.
a broad statement. But actually in Australia and all across the world, Sweden, Norway, a lot of Scandinavian countries grew up on pine tar.
Yeah.
Probably got a spoonful for you know,
Yeah.
before bed or whatever. But in Australia, the Dermatological Association actually allow it to be used on an apron, like direct on the skin as a topical treatment,
Yeah.
to remove blemishes and stuff like that. So
Interesting.
and to treat skin cancer in some
Really?
patients, and eczema and hives and stuff like that.
So they're actually using it for the opposite of
Yeah,
what they're
so
saying here is bad for-
I can't use pine tar, so I've had to substitute that with rectified cade oil, and cade is juniper, which so it's essentially almost the same thing.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's another way around.
But it's nice because I've actually come up with some really nice different solutions to things that I'm really proud of.
Yeah, should be. They're fantastic products, and I know Amy's tried one of the other ones that you have as well.
Yeah, it might be a grapefruit and
I think
sea
it was
salt.
the grapefruit sea salt one I got her when we were at the Wild and Ice
Yeah.
Festival, and that went down really well. But yeah, I mean, they last for ages, and the smells and going on are really good.
No,
Really good
thank you.
soap. Where can the listeners, viewers, find your soaps in the future?
So they're going to be on sale on my website, so I will do an announcement via video, and when I start live streaming, which is going to be a bit more of a regular occurrence compared to my videos, they'll be on sale through there as well.
Nice.
But yeah, and also thanks to you guys, a few will be on sale at the
Yes.
Bushcraft show, so
Yes. Between our stalls, you'll be able to
yeah,
pick one up or a few up.
I put a few limited edition ones on there, you know, so there'll be limited stock. But no, very much appreciated to you guys as well for
No worries. It's,
allowing me to do that.
yeah,
Yeah, it's what community is about, isn't it?
it is
Totally.
indeed. It is indeed. Yep.
And I think, you know, in the future, Ellie, so my much better half, she's going to be making me a load of kind of soap dishes to go with
Amazing.
them. So I'll probably be doing some little kits as well. Maybe some soaps on ropes and little travel
Great.
size, little tablet size ones for your
Amazing.
bushcraft kit. So yeah, loads of things in the pipeline, and
That's great.
thanks for
Very
asking.
exciting.
No, the amazing products. Please check out Primal Nomad soap. It's great to see you guys, and thank you for having us, Josh and Willow.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for feeding us such wonderful food.
Well, it's our pleasure.
Spoiled.
We couldn't
Yeah,
turn up
totally
and have it
spoiled.
any other way.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It's amazing, guys. Thank you.
So yeah, guys, please do go check out Fyrd Woodland Blades. I'll leave some links in the description down below. Also the State Detective. And yeah, stay safe. We'll see you on the next episode. And yeah, have a good one.
The Wodesman podcast is proud to bring you a unique opportunity from the State Detective, whose mission is to source and offer their followers some of the best beef products on the market. Use the code Wodesman20 to receive 10% off of your order, and also award 10% to help support the Bearded Fisherman, a UK-based charity helping those suffering with mental health issues. So whether you're in the market for beef jerky, biltong, incredible sauces, ration packs, tanks, warships or flyboys, and also love bushcraft, cooking, hunting or fishing, check out the State Detective. It's terribly British.